Hello, fellow techs. With NVIDIA being less and less interested to invest in the gaming space, how long do you think it will get before they start charging a monthly fee for using DLSS-like technology?
Why do they know me so well? They know how to just make me not want to do this anymore. I not only don't want to talk on WAN Show anymore, I don't want to talk about that. I don't want to face that.
I actually almost wish that was never asked.
I don't want to have to make that video.
Yeah.
I don't want to cover it.
Watching the Donut Media team address the like subscription seat warmers was like painful for I think the exact same reason.
There is, I think that sometimes I've seen it many times over the years. The general viewer, or at least some subset of the general viewer, seems to think that we have some kind of power that we don't have. You know, whether it's overpriced GPUs or like under spec, like, oh, if only you guys complained about it more, you could get this changed. We can't change anything. And it's honestly, it makes our impotence feel all the more frustrating because there's at least a subset of you guys who want this from us, who want us to wield this enormous club that you feel like we have for this industry-wide change. At the most, we can affect policy within a department at some of these companies or something like that. But you have to understand, they're publicly held. They answer to one entity, the shareholder. That's it. So if people will buy this shit, then they're going to pump it out. And it's like, sorry, I'm not meaning to go off on this or anything, but it's so frustrating because we're just watching this slow motion burning train crash. And it's like the extra weight of the expectation that we can do something about it it's all the more frustrating. I hate it just as much as you guys. And I hate that you're probably right. It is a matter of time until there is a subscription tier GPU feature. And you know what? It's not going to start on GeForce. It's not going to start with DLSS.
7090 with premium.
It's going to start, well, it's already starting with the data center grade stuff. And then it's going to make its way into the workstation. And then it's going to make its way into consumer. It's already there if you pay for a GPU as a service like GeForce Now. But it's a matter of time before it makes it into the card that you supposedly own. Sorry, this is a thing. Anyway, sorry. Yes, go ahead. Do you think you can push a boycott? Yeah, I'm going to convince gamers to stop playing games. Just like we convince people to stop paying for microtransactions. Just like we convince people to stop pre-ordering. It doesn't matter.
Cromwelp on X or Twitter, the director of publishing at Larian Studios, recently was in a thread talking about this, and I strongly agree when it comes to Game Pass style subscriptions. So accessing video games, not the NVIDIA GeForce one, but just like the Xbox One or PlayStation One or whatever. Origin has one, I think Uplay has one, whatever. Where they were basically saying, if you can afford it, which is a pretty big caveat, but if you can afford it, just buy the games outright. Because one of the issues with these subscription services, and I brought this argument up recently to someone, I don't remember who, but they were like, hey, no, like I know some game developers and they make some good money from if they get onto one of these services, like it's a good payday. The problem is when these things become ubiquitous, then the 4 or 5 companies that run them run everything, and now they can dictate all the terms. I believe...
Love that Freudian slip.
I believe recently Microsoft and PlayStation have cut their payments to, I believe it's just indie developers, but it might be developers overall. Like, the only reason why they can do that is because they're not worried about it. They like upped their prices and cut their payments to indie developers at the same time.
And you saw Microsoft change the terms of their trial for Games Pass in the lead up to Starfield.
Yeah. So it's like...
And it's like,
man.
That's well within their rights to do.
And what if your favorite game gets taken off of it?
Yeah.
And at the same time, what if it gets taken off of one of these subscription services years after proof? It's in GameLinked. Go watch GameLinked. I'm sure it's cited there somehow. But if this game that you love is taken off of these services, and also isn't currently for sale on any of the stores. It's just gone. We're seeing this happen with web video, web movies right now. Like Netflix-style platforms where they're taking things off of the platform in order to get a tax write-off on it, but that means you don't have access to it anymore. And yeah, sure, it got taken off the platform. Maybe it wasn't that good, but maybe you liked it. So like, man, that sucks. I don't know. I don't subscribe to any of these things, and I know I'm a old school, I want physical versions of my games person, but this is almost a different argument. This has actually nothing to do with physical versions of games. This has a mixture of things to do with wanting hoping that I'm taking a little bit less control away from the subscription services and making it so that developers have a little bit more, because I think that's important. There's a relationship there, right? They need the platform. Steam is really important. These other things are really important. They need a storefront to be able to sell their games through. Everyone just selling their games through their own websites is not going to be great. It works for some people. It's not going to work for everyone. But the cuts are rough.
And to people saying that piracy is the answer, here's the problem with that argument. Piracy is the answer as long as formats exist that can be pirated. All they have to do is basically decide as an industry.
It's all game streaming now.
Yeah, you know what? These games, we're just never going to make the files available for anyone to download. There will be nothing to reverse engineer. And there'll be leaks occasionally. I mean, we saw that giant dump out of Nintendo, but almost literally everything that came out of that was like 20 years old. Like, you are not going to be just playing pirated games that were only ever installed in a data center that was NDA'd up the butt, 6 months after release or anything like that. Or they can collectively just decide, you know what, it's just not worth it if people are just going to pirate this stuff. And people might turn to piracy if they start making everything a subscription. So it becomes this arms race, right? Where they kind of go, okay, well, then we're just only going to develop games that are hyper reliant on the always online sort of community features. And that's something we've already seen, where you've got this like multiplayer-ish kind of cloud functionality that's just kind of shoehorned into games that honestly didn't need it, but then suffer a degraded gaming experience if you don't have them, at least for some people. Even if it's something as simple as, people just like leaving comments behind that you can find.
Yeah.
I don't know. It's just like we talked about. I think we talked about this last week, how I was saying I'm like worried about the future of movies. Did we talk about that? I think we did.
So. I think so.
I'm worried about the future of gaming too, which is like kind of crazy,
because we're like we're coming out of a rough era into a very good era right now. And I will also say, one of the great things about this current era is a lot of these games have very acceptable monetization setups, which is interesting. Because for a while there, like, remember the Battlefront era? When, like, what was it? It would cost you like $100,000 to unlock all the characters? No, it was like 100,000 hours of gameplay. I don't remember what it was. I don't remember the quote. But
Pride
it's like
and accomplishment.
Yeah, it's like one of the most upvoted things on Reddit ever. Or downvoted?
Down, like 600,000 or something.
Yeah, sure, whatever. I don't know. It's been a while. But, like, we came from that into where we currently are, which is great. But because we're in a great spot right now doesn't guarantee that we'll be in a good spot in the future.
Yeah.
And I don't know everything about the games industry. I'm not in it.
It doesn't even mean that we're in as good a spot as we think we are now. I mean, one of the first things that you were saying about the splash screen when you jump into Starfield is that they've got that box sitting there that is obviously a placeholder to get you used to seeing something there so they can start selling you horse armor. Let's not forget who started this whole bloody thing.
Yeah.
Horse armor. Never forget. Bethesda.
I know like Mark Curran popped off on this. I don't know if it was because of here. I don't know if it was because of what it looked like or if it was because of this thing in the corner, because I honestly didn't pay attention to that conversation because I didn't care, because I think it looks fine. But this welcome to Starfield square in the corner, mark my words, will be used to sell things.
I hate that you're right. I hate that.
I promise you. It's going to happen. Some DLC is going to come out, or something's going to be available. I don't know. Just mod it out. Yeah. It's the solution to everything.
Add a loading screen to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Can I just shout out Twitch chat? Someone is gifting subs to people who have usernames that insult me. If that's how you guys want to express your hate, I'm super into it.
That's pretty funny.
You guys really are something else, Twitch chat.